Hi, good morning. How are you, Antoine?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Good to see you. Welcome. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another SportWorks Talks. My name's Christian Page, and with me today is Antoine from UEFA Academy. So I can see people are kind of filing into the room in the online chat. And what I would ask is, obviously, we're based here in Lausanne, in Switzerland. Please let us know where you're from when you just drop us a little note in the chat so we can get a sense of how many people we're reaching out to around the world. We've been really grateful to have these opportunity to invite a lot of the community here based in and around Lausanne. We're really grateful for Antoine to come and join us today to talk about a very important topic for the players. So I'm going to hand over to Antoine and say, just a couple of little bit of housekeeping. We're going to run about a 20-minute presentation, and then we're going to have 20 minutes of question and answer thereabouts at the end. So what I ask is if you could pop your questions into the Q&A. We'll flag those as we go through. If we can't answer all the questions, we'll do our best to answer them in the discussion forum, which we'll post onto sportworker.com, where you'll be able to also watch a rerun of this presentation. So thank you very much for joining us, and over to Antoine.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Christian and Tatiana and the team at SportWorks for hosting us this morning. And thank you to all of you for connecting also. I'm very happy to be here and very also excited to be able to present to you UEFA For Players, which is a project that we have been working on for the past couple of years. So my name is Antoine Fournier, and I work at UEFA, and more precisely, I work at the UEFA Academy. I have just a couple of slides to show you a little bit who we are and what we do. So maybe, Christian, if you could just start the presentation. What we do, thank you very much. What we do at the UEFA Academy is that we design and we deliver continuous education programs for professional working in football, mainly the staff of UEFA's member associations, so the people working in the administration of football across the 55 national football associations. So you can see here our program catalog. I hope it's appearing on your screen. We are more and more opening our programs to external stakeholders as well. So not only people working in those national associations, but people working in clubs, people working in leagues. We are also more and more programs targeting some specific stakeholders. And also in some of our programs, we are opening spots for people not necessarily working in football, working in sports, or who are connected to football and would like to attend our courses. This is, for instance, the case of the Diploma in Football Leadership and Management, which is a course about leadership, and project management, and for which we are currently recruiting. But as you can see, we have also programs for specialists, programs for players, and other initiatives. So make sure maybe to have a look at our website. You can see the address here, and also follow us on LinkedIn to get news from the Academy. So again, thank you very much for hosting us. The topic of the talk today is about UEFA For Players. So for the next 15 to 20 minutes, I will talk about about this project. I will first talk to you about its origins, because I think it's very important to understand a little bit where it's coming from. And then I will show you how it looks like, what's in it, how it works. And then we will have time to answer some questions. So really about its origin. So in 2015, we launched a program for players called UEFA Executive Master for International Players, or MIP. And this is really an executive master. It's a 2-year program with 20 to 30 players per edition. We are running currently the 3rd edition of this program. And it has as an objective really to support and to inspire former international in their transition to a second career. And we are helping them identifying transferable skills and then also giving them some knowledge and some skills to become managers, and hopefully so that they can work in the administration of the game, because it's an objective that we increase the number of players in the administrations. It might be their national association, can be their clubs, etc. But we want to increase. So what I want to say is that within this program, we had the opportunity to really to build some very interesting and some very very deep relationship with some players, and players that are in a position to reflect on their career and see really the key points, the turning points, the key challenges, what the opportunities they had, and maybe the pitfalls or the risk, maybe through their own experience, but maybe also the experience of their teammates, of friends, etc. And really, along those discussions that we had with players, it became apparent that as a young player, you're not necessarily equipped with the right tools, the right knowledge to launch yourself into a professional career as a professional. So of course there is all the technical sides. It's not necessarily the topic here, but all that comes around this career in this business. I don't like this term of business, but it's something also maybe that we underestimate. And then we shared, of course, this realization that we had with players, that as a young player you're not necessarily prepared. So we started, of course, thinking about what it means to be a footballer with them, and we came to the conclusion that we needed to do something. That we needed to develop an educational tool for younger players who are about to start the career or who just started the career. So here's a very brief summary of our discussion, and then of course we had all the process of doing research, of collecting data, etc. But this might seem maybe obvious to you, but of course you have positive aspects of being a footballer. You might get famous. You might potentially earn a lot of money. Not necessarily the case. You have, as a footballer, an attractive lifestyle because you get to do what you love for a living. You get to play football every day, and then you might become a role model. But there are also some negative aspects. A lot is linked to the career as a footballer being relatively short, 5 to 6 years in average. So very soon, very early, you will have to think about transitioning to a second career. You're always one big injury away of a change in your livelihood, and maybe at the end of your career. There are a lot of documented cases of mental health issue as well. Depression, addiction, of course, linked to the very competitive aspect of the profession. And then also, I mean, your private sphere, your private space being smaller than for a normal person, with exposure and media scrutiny, etc., etc. And then, of course, with the fame can come some negative aspects. People coming to you not necessarily looking at your best interests, scams and frauds and this kind of things. And one additional and very important aspect also that we identified can be summarized with this number, 40%. It comes from a study on English professional players, and 40% actually is the percentage of players who declare themselves bankrupt or face serious financial stress within 5 years of retirement. So it's a very worrying number, and I think almost it would be enough to start building an intervention, start building some educational tools to raise awareness on the risks and the opportunities around a professional football career. So basically, we worked with 13 of these former international players to build this educational tool, and we choose to build a mobile application. and we called it later UEFA for Players. So a mobile application, because it would help us to reach a lot of players, a large amount of players, to have a broad reach, and to do it at a reasonable cost as well. So why we're doing it is to create a direct touch point, something that UEFA didn't have in the past with players, and in order to support them in the management of their career and what comes after. And the app is really built around 8 interactive e-learning modules. We used a lot of gamification, and we could call this app like a serious game. So always in the back of our mind, we had the objective of making the learning as easy as possible, as fun, let's say, as possible, as interactive as possible. So we thought about this as kind of a video game. And also we had some other gamification aspects, like you win points, you can compare yourself through a leaderboard, etc. So just to give you kind of the look and feel and a sense of what the application looks like, I'm going to show you just a very short video. So it should appear on your screen. Christian, yeah, if you can, perfect. Okay, so this should give you kind of a sense of what the application looks like. I'm just going to jump right back into the presentation. I'm going to just apologize for the next slides. As you can see, there is a still image of a mobile phone here. Normally, I should have been able to show you some animations, but we chose to be on the safe side because it would have been problematic for the bandwidth and the quality of the presentation. So normally you should be able to see some animations of the app, but it's not the case. So I apologize. So as you could see in the video, we really took the gamification approach, and the 13 players that we worked with, we developed digital avatars of them, and we put them in the app. So there is then a story, there is a scenario, and the player, the user, is traveling virtually across Europe, going to a city and meeting those former players who play the role of mentors. And they they talk through a topic so that the learning is really made like this. So they will be asking questions, and depending on your answer, you would go one part of the scenario or the other. You have some quizzes to fill, some really small games to do, so that the learning is interactive like this. And each time you complete a sequence, it is usually there are short sequences, 2 to 6 minutes, so that you can play a bit of anytime you have sometimes maybe on the bus or maybe after training. And then with these points, we kind of play on the competitive mindset of footballers and athletes, so that you can compare your points with people in your team, people in your country or in your league, or more globally as well. And we have also the possibility to do more stuff in the app, like stream some live content as well, if you want to have a Q&A with someone, a player, an expert on a topic. And also we have the possibility to put in a resource centers a lot of additional documents that can be helpful for the players. So in terms of topics that we are approaching in the apps, we have, I mentioned it, these 8 topics. There is no hierarchy behind them. So basically a player can play any of these topics in the order they want. They can even play several modules at the same time. They don't have to finish one to beginning another one. And but within one of these modules, one of these topics, they will have to follow a scenario or story and go sequence after sequence. So they complete one, and then the other one unlocks, etc. So I'm going to really quickly go through each of them to give you a little bit of sense. And then again, you have these still images of mobile phone, and I apologize for that. So on the right top corner, you can see the players we worked with on this specific topic, but on the app in general as well. So My UEFA is really kind of a corporate module. It's for players to understand a little bit more what UEFA is doing, beside organizing the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Euro, that the fact that we have many more competitions, and that basically the mission of UEFA to develop, protect and promote football in Europe. The next one would be anti-doping, and here it's a module where we mirror UEFA's efforts in anti-doping education. So we break down the key rules and regulations around doping, and we explain to players the potential impacts on their career and on their health of doping. So this is actually a very interesting topic and a very interesting module, sorry, where they can do some kind of a little investigation and inspect some products to know a little bit more, etc., so that they have the good reflex, that they could be the good behavior when it comes to this topic. And also it will break down how a doping test takes place, what are their rights, what are their responsibilities during a doping test, because it will become part of their life when they are professional, and also even earlier than that. My integrity, here it mirrors the UEFA's effort to fight the threat of match fixing across Europe. So it's really about explaining the basics of how it works, so that players can identify a dangerous situation, recognize maybe when there is an attempt to fix a game through them or through a teammate or through someone else in the team, so that they can first, of course, reject this attempt and then report it, so that the professional behind the fight against match fixing can do their job. My game, it's a very interesting module. It's on the laws of the game. It's on the basic rules, because it can be surprising to a lot of us, but actually some even top players sometimes are not 100% confident with some of the rules. And so in this module, we break down some key rules like offside, handball, etc., but in a funny way, in a very interactive way, where you have to say, okay, is it a foul? Is it not? Is it offense? Offside? Is there like a yellow card, red card? Why? And then you have to explain to give the reasons why. So that's also players can put themselves into the shoes of a referee for a while. Understand also that it's a very tough job. Of being a top referee, making decisions quickly on the field, etc. And also, I mean, behind this is that the fact that a player that masters the rules is more technically aware, and in the end is a better player anyway. My second career. So here we get into the thick of it, to say so. It is, I mean, it's not possible through an app to give individual advice to several thousand of players. It's not the objective of the app. It's not the objective of the module. So here it's really about putting players into a certain mindset so that they will ask themselves some questions. Okay, what do I like to do? What am I good at? So that they can already identify some paths, some ideas for what they want to do besides football during the career, or also after the career, so that they understand that they not identify only as footballer. Football does not define them entirely. They are complete persons, etc. So it's kind of a module to know more also about yourself, and to prepare for the transition that has a lot of challenges, and it can be very difficult a period of a player's life, and it's never too early to start preparing for this moment. The next one is my image. Of course, obviously, a lot of opportunities around leveraging your image when you're professional players. Mainly commercial opportunities, of course, and here it's about those opportunities, and so we have kind of a basic of media training, how to deal with journalists, how to answer questions, how to lead an interview, let's say, because it's also to make players understand that they are part of an ecosystem that works with us, but also with a lot of different actors in media, and journalists are one. And also we give best practices on how to manage social media accounts and these kind of things. We have a module on finance, of course, because it was one of the main issue that we identified in the beginning. The goal of the module is not to make players financial experts on investments and things like that, but it's really to break down the basics of budgeting or financial planning, so that then they are confident enough to be in a driving seat when it comes to taking decisions about their financial situation, the financial future, so that they have they adopt the good behavior. So they ask the good questions. They ask questions until they understand, so that they choose the right advisors, and they can also kind of recognize when there is something shady coming to them, because very often when you are a professional player, it happens. So this is about finance, and of course there is also a part on financial obligations, which was important for us. So tax duties and these kind of things. And the last one, we called it My Social Fair Play. And here it's about it's talking about the fact that as a player, you have an impact on society, you have an impact on people. It can be a local impact, it can be a global impact, but you have an impact. And it's about giving ideas, giving best practices, giving leads on how to make this impact a positive one on society. So basically, is it by working with an NGO on a certain topic that is dear to you? Maybe it is about setting your own foundation, etc. So we give a lot of ideas, and And also it links well with the second career module, where it's about understanding what is dear to you, what interests you, etc. So this is kind of an overview of the 8 modules. I'm conscious that we are slowly running out of time, so I'm just going to give you some more information before we jump into the questions. So the app is available to download in currently 8 languages. And we will be adding 3 additional languages for next season. So you can see the languages it's available in, and it's so everything is translated. So it's the voices as well. It's not only the text, documents, etc. Everything is translated into these 8 and soon 11 languages. In terms of implementation, we launched the app in August in a test phase in one of our competition, the UEFA Youth League, so for an under-19 club competition, with 64 teams participating. And we had a bit more than 1,500 players registered on the app, who spent an average of 1 hour and 10 minutes learning on the app. So it was also the opportunity for us to collect a lot of feedback and to start working on improvements of technical improvements or pedagogical also improvements in the application, so that for next year we will be able to implement it in all of our youth competitions. So national team competition under 17, under 19, and also that we'll be then able more confidently to go and promote the app directly to some clubs or other stakeholders like league or players union, and to offer additional services around the app as well. And one of our objectives for next season as well is to really start building a deeper connection with the users, with the players, through additional content on the different formats, live streaming, live conversations, and different types of additional formats on other topics as well that might not be covered in the modules at the moment. So I'm slowly reaching the end of this short presentation. Maybe a couple of things for you to take out of it. So UEFA For Players is a mobile application. It is for all elite players, so both men and women, football and futsal. It is here to support players in the management of their career, both on and off the pitch, and what comes after, through 8 e-learning modules and additional content. It is free of charge for the users and for the club. So UEFA is covering the cost of running this application, this mobile app. And also, I mean, it's possible for you to get an access if you're interested in this, even if you're not a player, even if you're not necessarily working in a club. So you will be able to download the app on the app stores, but then you will need a code. So for that, please write to us at the email address that you can see on the screen, academy@uefa.ch. And we will be. It will be our pleasure to explain to you a bit more about the app, so that you can see by yourself how it looks like. So, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you found this short presentation to be interesting. I haven't had a look at the questions so far, but I hope that there are some. And now we have some time to take them and to answer them. So maybe Christian, if you're still here, maybe if you can jump in. And again, thank you very much.
Yes, definitely still here. Great presentation. Thanks, Antoine. Really, really informative. You've given us lots of food for thought in, as you say, a quick stop tour of your presentation and of the application. So yeah, some great questions coming through, and I'll just step through a few of those now. I'm just going to say we'll try and do our best to get to as many of them as possible. So the first one here from Jonathan: is the app available on UEFA's website directly? I work in China and cannot access Google Store.
It's available only through the Android store, Google Store and Apple Store, unfortunately. But maybe if this person can write to us, we might find a solution with the service provider so that this person can access the app as well.
Great, good question. So next one is, again, it's linked to the Asia, is are UEFA working with any other federation, like Asia Football Federation, for example, to assist and advise a similar app for the Asian
actually
market?
a very good question. This is in our, of course, in our objective, and this is always a service that we are ready to offer. Basically, in the state of a project right now, we wanted to have this test phase first, to collect this feedback again, and to make sure that this product is really working well. And then internally, we have a unit that is dealing with international relations, and that is putting in place a lot of projects of collaborations with other federations like the Asian, like the AFC. Other confederations around the world. So this is definitely something that we want to do, to be able to add this app in a way to a catalog of services that we can offer to other confederations for them to put in place for their players, and to put in place as services to their member associations as well.
That's great.
That's very good question.
Going to be expanded. I think the next question, thanks for that. The next question from Ahmed, I do have a question. How can I use the app, download, but I need a code? So I think that's what you were referring to earlier. If you drop an email to academy@uefa.ch,
yes,
perhaps. Yeah.
Yes, so exactly. Drop us an email, just explain a little bit who you are, why you are interested in the app, and me or someone in the team will answer to you and provide you with this code for you to access the app. But there is this, of course, kind of barrier, and we, at this point in time, we really control the access to the app and to whom we deliver it.
Great. Okay, that's clear. So next question from Daniel Dos Santos. Hello, Daniel Dos Santos from Switzerland. What are the eligibility criteria for the masters, the app? What is the level required for the players taking the course? So a bit more content specific.
Yeah, so very good question. Not necessarily on the app, but I mean, I understand. I answer anyway. So we have some requirements. You need to be an international player and have a career. So there are some sporting requirements to access the course, and they're not necessarily absolute. So we can enter some discussion with the player. Also, the goal of the program is to have diversity inside the group, but you have to have at least played in one UEFA competition or played for your national team, so to have some caps for your team. But again, these are not necessarily completely set in stone, so this can be discussed as well. And then I mean, also to make sure that we have diversity in the background and diversity, gender diversity as well. We put in place some grants, some scholarships to attend this and to take part to this program.
Great. Good
I
answer.
hope this answered the question.
Yeah, by the impression, by looking at your implementation plan as well, it seems to be that you're going to be able to test and learn some of these through these processes, which will make it your understanding will expand as you go. Good answer. So the next question
just to make sure that I was talking about the executive master, so another program and not the mobile application, which is open freely to all the elite players.
Great. So the next one, Balina, do you have plans to create such type of application for coaches? What is your attitude toward coach education? It's a good question.
Yeah, it's very, very good question. And this is true that coaches are a very important actor. And this is something that we have, and that I was mentioning in additional content or additional services to clubs, is something that we want to develop, is to, being able to go to a club and might be a coach then, to say, okay, well, this is something that you can put in place with your players. This is material that you can use around the app, some pedagogical material, maybe to run session on some topics. But then also, of course, as UEFA, we run education courses for coaches, and this is something that we are going to promote in those courses, courses for coaching license in Europe.
So this is more fitting with the UEFA Academy and a lot of the structure under that.
Yeah, so exactly, and to be transparent with you, it's not something. Coach education is not something that we deal with at UEFA Academy. So here internally at UEFA, it's collaboration with other units that deal with this topic. But it's a very good question because it makes totally sense, and this is something, of course, that we have in the pipeline.
Great. Okay, thanks for that. Another good question here from Yatin. From a gender perspective, what is the percentage of female football players in this program for players? And is there any mindset from promoting women's football in UEFA Academy through this platform?
Yeah, so about the first part of the question. So for now, in this test phase, we delivered it mainly to male players through this competition, the Youth League, because it made sense to us because the Youth League as an education purpose as well. It's not only about sportive competition; it's also about education on various topics. We run seminars in the clubs, with the clubs, etc. We bring experts to the clubs' campuses, etc. So in our test phase, it really made sense to use this competition. But in the future, and also in the way the app was developed, it is content that is for both men and women players. And this is very, very important. And this is, of course, an objective of us to deliver it the same way we deliver it from men to women. And if it's a way to promote women's football through the app, I think in a sense you can say yes. And as you know, UEFA has now a strategy for the development and of women's football in Europe and beyond. And there are a lot of actions coming from this plan, from this strategy, that reflects in the UEFA Academy programs and UEFA Academy offers. It might be it can be this app. It can be also different programs among our catalogs that we have specific actions to promote women's football. For instance, it can be grants and scholarships to attend some of our courses, and can be also courses that are designed for specialists working in women's football.
Okay, great. So some quite comprehensive programs in behind all of that. Another question here from Richard. As an intermediary, can you get access to then show to players the app? If I've got that question correct.
Yes, of course. If as an intermediary, as an agent, you would like to promote this app to your players, to your clients, and see that as an additional service that you would like to offer your player, of course, we can create access for you first to have a look at the mobile app, and then create access for your players so that they can have their own account. So yes, this is something that is possible.
Great. Again, I guess coming back through to the email, academy@uefa.ch starts to answer those questions.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Okay. Next great question. So within the content from Armando, within the content of this amazing app, great plug there, is there any content regarding injury prevention for the players, or similar injury content like the FIFA 11 Plus, Nordic hamstring, knee control program, abductor stretching, and sprinting program, as an example?
Very good question, and the answer is no. No, we didn't add this kind of content right from the beginning. This is something that we have in mind in terms of health and healthy lifestyle and injury prevention, of course, for additional content. But we decided not to create a dedicated topic on that. To be transparent, we wanted to have really like a health module, but it proved a little bit sometimes difficult because it could be conflicting with some instructions or some plans, some things that the players were receiving from their clubs. And here it became too complicated for us then to implement and to promote the app. So we will be then dealing with this topic, which is a very important one. You're right. Through more additional content or regular content on different formats that are really the modules themselves.
Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah, it's an important topic. As you say, athlete health is at the center of athlete performance. But yeah, treating it in respecting what is a sensitive topic. It's good. So a question here from Al Ray. Did you work with the IOC Athlete 360 program or 365 program?
Not directly. We had some interesting discussions with them at the beginning of the project. Some exchange of information, some exchange of how they built also their platform. There are references, I think, to it in the app, but there is no necessarily a direct link or direct integration with the IOC 360 Plus program.
Okay, so I've got time for just a couple more, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So a question here from Michelle. What have been the biggest difficulties for you observed for players to make transition to new jobs or professional positions after the end of their sporting career? And how have these initiatives helped this process of professional development in different roles?
Yeah, so very interesting question. We could talk about this for hours, obviously, but what we observe mainly, and I'm going to talk in general terms, is that when the end of the career comes for a player, very often the player can be a little bit lost because the player was used to a very strict schedule, to have a lot of things organized for him or her, and all of a sudden everything stops around you, and basically you need to be more proactive, etc., and maybe you don't necessarily have also the confidence in your strengths, in your skills, to go out and seek for opportunities. So what we are trying to do with this kind of program, and also the executive master for players that I mentioned before, and some other initiatives also we're working on at the moment, is to really first, okay, just settle down, okay, well, and then identify make you understand that you have a lot of value, that you have a lot of skills. Actually, when you are a professional player, you get to maybe to work in a completely different country, have to learn the language, work in a different language, adapt to a new system. You have leadership skills maybe on the pitch. So a lot of these skills that maybe you don't even realize that you have. And then through these programs where we take really a long approach, we were able to have a lot of good results. And now we have a lot of very good stories of players who were at the end of the career and who are now in leadership position in their national associations, who have some very interesting jobs as technical directors in clubs, who have interesting jobs as I mentioned, president of national associations, head of recruiting, these kind of things, really in the administration of the game. And we have, for example, Eric Abidal is one of our graduates, and he has this sporting director position at Barcelona. Sebastian Kehl, who has the same kind of position in Borussia Dortmund. We had presidents of the Latvian FA, for instance, etc. And then Juninho, for instance, as the sporting director role at at Olympique Lyonnais. So really, honestly, a lot, almost beyond our expectations in terms of results that we were able to achieve. And here, I mean, we're still at the beginning with UEFA for Players, but it's really about setting the foundations, setting the key messages, the key knowledge, so that's really the impact is, of course, harder to measure, and would take more time also to measure. So I hope that I answered your question. Very good.
Yeah, as you say, it's a good answer, and it is a topic that we could pick up perhaps on the next webinar to look at really go for a bit of a deep dive into athlete transition, because it is such an important topic. And I think, looking at the construct of the app, I think it's fantastic that you're addressing it in such pragmatic ways. I think the 8 modules really represent.
So if my colleague in charge of the program is listening to us, maybe he can do a webinar on this specific program later.
Great. So I think we're at the end of our time today. I know there's a few more questions in the thread, but what we'll do is we'll put them out on the discussion forum so that we can provide some answers for those, and we'll put all the links into the post, so you can get in contact with Antoine or myself or any of the team at SportWorks to further to the discussion. So I want to say thank you, Antoine. Great presentation. Great to have you here with us this morning. Great to be able to connect. So was there anything else you want to add from your side?
Yeah, thank you very much, Christian, and thank you for having me, and thank you to all of you who listened this morning. And again, I make my best to answer the questions on after the webinar, those who were not answered live. And all the best to you in those weird times, and take care of yourself, and see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Antoine. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we look forward to having you join us again very soon on SportWorks Talks. Have a great day, stay safe, and thanks again, Antoine. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Thank you very much.